Hi, my name is Jamie Rue. It is the 6th day of NaNoWriMo, and I have written 13,356 words. Alright, so that is so many more words than I ever expected to write, and I'm gonna be saying this for the rest of November. If I keep up with my words, I probably won't. But here we are, 6th day. We're almost at 1 week. Yeah. Woo. Today I'm going to be talking to you about what genre your novel should be in. This might not apply to a lot of you, but I'm really obsessed with what genre my novel should be in. When I'm forming novel ideas, I'm like, oh, this is a contemporary romance, or oh, this is a sci-fi, or this is a fantasy, and that's not how books and the world should work. But mostly right now I'm talking about this in the context of books, because if I talk about the world, it'll not opening that can of worms today. Okay, so for example, this is The City of Bones. It's by Cassandra Clare. You've probably heard of it. This is a fantasy novel, hardcore fantasy novel. It involves demons and like angels and vampires and werewolves, and there's just knives and killing monsters, but it's also a romance novel. Romance is kind of the broad, overarching genre of book, but it's not at the same time. This is also sort of a fantasy book, but it involves aliens. 2 fantasy books. You cannot believe how different these are. Fantasy books. This is a book about aliens. This is a book about, like, demon hunters. These books are really different, and yet they're both put in fantasy, and they're both put in romance. These books, they're both romance books. This one in particular is less of a romance book. Can you just like look at the two? Just looking at the covers, you know how different they are. These books, the only thing that's similar about them is that they have humans involved. This is a contemporary novel. This is a fantasy novel. There is a big difference. And trying to put both of these books in the nice little box of romance and tying it up with string is not gonna work, because inside that little box of romance there are more boxes, and one of those boxes is the fantasy, and inside that romance fantasy box there are more boxes, and probably there are more boxes in this alien world, and there are more boxes in this fantasy world, and trying to categorize your novel just will not work. So you probably don't care about all of that. You don't care about what genre your novel is going to be in. Maybe you do. Maybe you're like me and you obsess over, hey, if I ever want to get this novel published, what will I say in my query letter to an agent? Because when you query, you need to say what genre your novel is in. And if I don't know what genre my novel is in, what do I put? Because, so what if it's romance, but it's also fantasy, but it's also sci-fi, but it's also none of those things? You can't care about that when you're writing. When you're writing your book, you can't think about how you're going to sell the novel later. That's not how writing works. You're not going to get anything done. You need to put aside all thoughts of like querying and publishing, because that won't happen for a really long time after NaNoWriMo. What you have now are these things. You have you, and you have your laptop, or notebook and pencil if you're going that route, and you have your mind. And those are the things that you need to write your novel. You need the creative portion of your mind, the part that is going to be putting words onto pages, and if you start worrying about what box your novel should fit in, you are going to limit yourself by staying within the confines of that box. The person that wrote the first dystopian novel, dystopian wasn't a thing before then. If that person had worried about keeping it in like the sci-fi genre and staying within the confines that were already made in that genre, the first dystopian never would have been written. Or maybe, are dystopians sci-fi? Maybe the first one was. I don't. Basically, my point is, don't limit yourself while you're writing. Don't think about what you should categorize your novel into, because maybe it's its own category now. Maybe you're starting a thing. If you liked my ranty, rambliness, then you should like this video, and if you want to see more of it, you should subscribe to my channel, possibly. And if you did not like my hatred towards categorizing books, rant, then thank you for staying till the end. Sorry that this ending is so awkward. I'm just gonna go and write now. Actually, I'm gonna go edit this and then I'm gonna write. But you should leave because I'm not even saying anything. Why are you still here? Just go write your words and unleash the words upon the world. And I don't know what I'm saying. I'm tired. Bye.